Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am Joey Francis, your life, love, and relationship coach. Thank you so much for joining me. So, when I started thinking about doing this and then in turn doing it, my goal obviously is to help people figure out their dating goals, figure out how to be happy when it comes to relationships, and to really look inwards so that they can figure out the things that they want and then essentially have the tools to go out there and get them and stay true to themselves, right? And obviously, you read the title, you know what this is about. But nonetheless, for the past, 25 weeks, this is, I think, number 26. It's like the halfway point. Jesus. Wow. I made it half a year. Congratulations to me. Okay. Sorry. I didn't even realize that. So yeah, over the past half a year, I've been doing a lot of, helping. Well, I hope that I'm helping you guys figure out what's right for you, what you're ready for, how you want to be treated, and how to go out there and get it. But see, here's the thing. I don't think I've really mentioned all that much how you should be treating other people, asides the fact when I say, hey, if something's not for you, walk away, don't ghost, don't do this. And that's kind of like what I want to expand on today. Again, you see the title. Consideration, and how important it is in how we treat other people. And I'm going to expand on that because this obviously has implications when it comes to even getting to know someone and dating. And I have a fantastic story for you, which technically I should have held off from recording this because that story is still ongoing and I kind of want a conclusion, but I can't wait for other people. The show must go on. So, consideration. And I've mentioned it before also, when it comes to dating and, you want someone to essentially match your energy. You want someone to put in just as much effort or more than what you're doing, right? But here's the thing. If you're not putting in a lot of effort, then what is somebody going to match? If you're just there expecting someone to go full 10/10ths, I mean, that's a racing term, to go full commitment into getting to know you, taking you out, calling you, reaching out, etc., 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 and you're doing the bare minimum. And then when it doesn't go anywhere, when that person, because this happens on both sides, whether it's men or women, it happens everywhere and anywhere. But then when it doesn't go well for you, your first reaction is to call a friend and complain. And I know, because I'm that guy that people come to and call and say, I don't get it. I don't get it. We talk, we have amazing conversations. We went out a few times. The dates were fantastic. But, it seems like there's just nothing there. And then, it's hey, if somebody isn't matching your energy or doing the things you want or treating you the way that you want, then it's just not for you. Maybe they're not being serious about being in a relationship. Maybe they're not serious about getting to know you or dating. Maybe they're dating multiple people and they don't want to get too tied down to one. And I say these things without knowing what their conversations are actually like, or what the energy is like, or what the intention is actually like, which leads me to my wonderful story. So I have a very good friend of mine. And she knows, because she listens to this show, and she knows exactly who she is. And sometimes she even gets excited when I talk about her, because I may or may not have already. So yeah, a friend of mine. And funny enough, let's go a little bit further back. She was talking to a guy, And this guy happened to be the same ethnicity as her. And she sort of got excited about that because there was like some sort of nostalgia, thinking like, hey, if I brought this guy home to meet my parents or my family, um, you know, it's just going to mesh better because we all come from a similar place. We all come from a similar understanding. And even though she said to me, I'm just trying to expand my horizons because physically he's not exactly my type. Like, he's a good looking guy, but he's not exactly my type. But I'm just trying to like see what's out there. And I enjoy talking to him. He's funny. He's this, he's that, and I have a good time with him. So they went out on a date. I mean, they were talking for a while. It was like sort of long distance, depending on what you consider long distance, but he lived a couple hours away. To me, that's long distance. Anything more than an hour, anything more than an hour, I consider long distance, because then it becomes a matter of, shit, do I feel like really driving an hour and a half to go see somebody? I mean, I really like them, but, and then the weather becomes a factor, and this becomes a factor, and that becomes a factor. And once you start introducing all these factors, that's where people say like long distance shit doesn't really work. So nonetheless, it can work most definitely. And people obviously have made it work for, thousands of years. And nonetheless, that's a lie. Not thousands of years. I mean, it's the majority of why. And I'm just thinking because me being Italian and essentially you were like marrying someone from the town next over. And that's why so many like towns in Italy's are not necessarily incest, but like, let's be honest. There's a saying, keep it in the family. Anyways, disgusting. I know. Anyways, going back to the story, so she went on a date with this guy. They've had like wonderful phone conversations, great texting back and forth. They go on a date and date goes well. And then all of a sudden, this guy becomes a little bit of a distant human being. And, she's a very bold person. She's not scared. So she reaches out, hey, listen, like the next day, hey, listen, I had a great time with you, blah, 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 try talking to him. And he responds very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like nonchalant, like vague, very vaguely response. Fine, no problem. Then for the next couple of days, she doesn't hear from him. And she reached out one of those couple of days just to check in, see what's going on. And nothing. And that's when she essentially called me and was like, hey, like, could you help me like figure this out? I'm very sad about this. I'm very upset, because I put a lot into this, at least, mentally and emotionally, getting to know him and essentially getting excited and things of that nature. And it really bummed her out. And it's like, okay, there's a lot of different things that I can say at this point, but here's the real thing. What he's feeling and what he's doing, I cannot explain. I can help you figure out 1,000,001 different scenarios of why he walked away or why he wasn't interested or whatever the case is, but it's not necessarily going to be the truth. And she was like pretty distraught, and mainly because this is like the first time that she really got back into dating after a long and hard relationship that she had before. So there's a lot that goes into it. You know what I mean? And as much as I say to everybody, hey, you have to do what's right for you and go after the people that are right for you. And if someone's not right for you, then, essentially walk away. And it's like, hey, by the way, we are dealing with other human beings that have feelings. Like, we can't be dicks about this and just say, hey, you know what? Or don't say nothing, and essentially ghost someone, because I don't think that's ever the right thing to do, And I mean, especially when it comes to women, I do understand why there's a want to ghost. Because a lot, and I mean, again, I've addressed this in a previous episode where I mentioned that guys are massive babies, and when women decide to like, hey, listen, I'm not interested in you, that's when they turn from like being a normal human being to turning into a baby to sometimes being a stalker of sorts. You know, sometimes they just don't let it go and they continuously message thinking that something's going to change. And in other times they go like the extra mile and call their work and show up and do this and do that. And I mean, listen, I get it. And as often that it doesn't happen, it only takes one time to really mess with somebody, right? So I understand like the, hey, let's just, you know, the Homer Simpson meme where he goes into the bushes and disappears. I get it. But I still think this is where we really need to remember that we're dealing with other people and dealing with other people's feelings, and that being considerate is not hard. And to everybody that's like, well, listen, you know, like I don't want to hurt someone. I have a hard time telling someone I'm not interested because I don't want to hurt them. And what? Do you think that disappearing is less hurt than saying, hey, I'm sorry, I'm not interested in you? Because it's not. You're leaving someone wondering. And yes, I know I am the one who says I do not believe in closure, because sometimes no message is a message. No, not sometimes. Every time no message is a message. And again, if you stick to the facts, how you want to be treated, and if somebody isn't treating you that way, they're not for you regardless. That includes someone ghosting you, because obviously you don't want someone to ghost you. Then they're not treating you the way they want to be treated, and gone. You shouldn't even think twice about it. Going back to my friend, I know I'm like all over the road here when it comes to my point. Going back to her. So she was, you know, a little distraught, and it bothered her for like a week. You know what I mean? And, you know, she was talking to this guy for, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks. They only went out one time because, again, he doesn't live close. I could have that wrong. That's just from what I remember. Nonetheless, it bothered her. You know, she put effort into somebody. Everything seemed like it was going great. And then nothing. He disappeared. Okay. I get it. It sucks. You know, obviously, I gave her some exercises to do to help her through this. And I believe that she did them, you know. Nonetheless, let's say a week later, talking to her again, she tells me, hey, I just got home from a date. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, what, you know, what's going on? Like, how long were you talking to this guy? Like, you know, tell me about him. Like, what's up? And she's like, you know, we matched, and we've been speaking for a couple days, and we had some really good, not long, but good phone conversations. And then, you know, went out, I think it was to dinner, but no, whatever. Went out to dinner. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, you know, that's a bit of a, because as we know, and I've mentioned it to you guys many times, and I love reminding you of all this stuff, because I honestly believe that this shit helps and works. Give yourself time to get to know someone before going out with them. Now, in this case, it was fine, because it turned out that she ended up liking the guy. But in a lot of cases, that's not what happens, because something that could be figured out in a conversation within like minutes will save you weeks of talking, if not months of dating and talking, et cetera, based on obviously the things that you're looking for in a person, the things that you don't want in a person. And just to go back to my friend and the first guy, I don't remember, or maybe she did mention that she smokes, because she smokes, not a lot, you know, she's like a social smoker. or smokes when she drinks type of thing, right? I don't remember if she had a conversation with him, but it did bother him. And she said to him at the end of the day, this is the first guy, not the second guy, the first guy. At the end of the day, she said, I'm going to have a cigarette. And he was like, oh, you shouldn't smoke, as everybody does. You shouldn't smoke, blah, blah, blah. And I even say it to her too. In one ear, out the other. I mean, that's with anybody that's, addicted to shit. And then I even proposed that, like, did this guy have like a problem with smoking? Was this what it was? And this is why he ghosted you? Because, even though you told him and he was like, yeah, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe I can deal with it. I really don't want a woman that smokes. But, and then thinking that you can deal with it until it's in front of your face. And now you're like, shit, I really don't like this. I don't like it. I can't deal with it. And then that's why you ghosted? Plausible reason, nonetheless. And this is why I said to her, I'm like, hey, like, did you talk to him about this? Did you tell him about this? Because, this is a pain point for a lot of people. A lot of people out there do not want to date someone that smokes. It's just a fact. It's like if you smoke and someone doesn't want to date you because of that reason, tough shit. That's life, right? Anyways, going back to my story now. I'm talking so much. Jesus. Trying to get to a specific point. She goes out with this guy. She talked to him for a couple of days. She went out with him, called me essentially, or was messaging me. I called her because it's like, you have too much to say. Like, just let's do a phone call. And she's telling me about him and the date and how everything happens. As we're on the phone, he texts her. Hey, beautiful. I had an amazing time with you. I could have stayed with you longer. I don't know if you realized, but I really wanted to kiss you. I would love to go out with you again sometime before you go on your trip, because she's going on vacation for a couple of weeks. And she, like, on the phone, she tells me, she's like, oh, He just texted me. And then she reads the text to me, and I'm pretty sure I got it fairly close to what it was. And she just, like, continues on talking to me. I'm like, whoa. I go, you're not going to respond to this guy? Like, you're not going to respond to him? Oh, you know what? I think I missed out. I hope you got home safely. He also mentioned that in the text. Sorry. And I'm like, you're not going to respond to this guy? And she's like, no, I'm on the phone with you. And it's like, yeah, you're on the phone with me, not like the Prime Minister of Canada. Like, who gives a shit? Reply to the guy. Like, you could have told me, like, give me a second, I want to reply to this guy. And she's like, it's fine. I'll just reply after. I'm like, sometimes our conversations are 3 minutes long. Sometimes our conversations are like 3 hours long. What do you mean you're going to respond afterwards? Just respond to the guy. It's the end of the night. Like, he texted you. Like, just respond. So I essentially forced her to respond. And her response was, sounds great! Exclamation point. And I'm saying that because because I kept saying to her within conversation, I'm like, you responded, sounds good? And she's like, no, I said sounds great. And I put an exclamation point. This guy. And everything that she's told me, like, I don't know who he is. I can't judge him based on anything that she said to me, because he seemed like okay. Now, the first guy, she told me a bunch of stuff about him, and I'm like, ooh, there's a couple of like red flags that I see, but that's for you to decide. And she's like, no, it's great. And then I turned out to being right. Anyways, I'm like, I don't see any like red flags with this guy or anything along the lines. And I'm like, you just responded like, that's good? And she's like, no, I responded, that's great. And I put an exclamation point. And I'm like, this guy, number one, was checking in to make sure that you got home safe. Number two, was telling you that you had a wonderful time. And he even mentioned that he really wanted to kiss you goodnight, because they didn't kiss goodnight, if you couldn't figure that out. And he wanted to kiss you goodnight. And then he's trying to plan another date with you. And all you respond with was, sounds great! Exclamation point. And she says to me, yeah, but he knows that, we have a good thing. Like, we have a good rapport together. Like, he knows all of this. And I'm like, excuse me, how does he know this? How does he know? And she said, because we had a great phone conversation and we had a great time on our date. And on our date, because it was his birthday last week, and I asked him what he did for his birthday, and it was like this sad-ish story. Like, he went golfing with his friends and then took himself out to dinner. Terrible friends, by the way. And he turned 50. It was like his 50th birthday. And that's all he did. And I mean, maybe it was like an age thing where it's like, I don't want to celebrate because, like, who wants to turn 50? And I get it. And I'm like, okay. And she, on their date, like, went to the bathroom, went to go talk to like a waiter and say, like, hey, listen, can you get this guy like a birthday cake? It's his birthday and blah, 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 blah. And, like, paid for it herself and all that stuff, like, secretly. And she's telling me that she's like, look at all this amazing things that has happened between the two of us in the past, like, 3 days. He knows that I like him. I'm like, listen, I don't know who this guy is. I don't really know what he's thinking and if he's okay with your, that's great. Because, and then as we're having this conversation, he's literally messaging her like more shit. He's saying like, okay, that sounds, how's Wednesday for you? Let's figure out what we can do. And then she responded with thumbs up. And then he responded with, okay, sounds good. Sweet dreams. And she writes, you too. You too. As I'm like berating her. And I'm not even afraid to say it. Yeah, I was like full out like yelling at her, like, what the heck is wrong with you? Like, this poor guy is like trying to get something from you. Like, if it was me, I don't know what he's thinking. I'm not him. But if this was me, I talked to a girl on the phone. We had great communication. We go out on a date. She does this incredibly sweet thing for me. I get home. I check in on her, make sure she got home safe. Tell her that I really like her. Say that I wanted to kiss her. Tried to plan another date and I got, that's great. I would be wondering, like, what the fuck did I do to piss this person off? Was like the day like her being nice? Does she not like me? Because I'm getting that's nice. And I even asked her, I said, what if he said these things to you? Like, what if he called you and said like, hey, like, I hope you got home safe. How would you respond to that? You wouldn't say that's great to his message. You would respond like a normal human being. Yeah, I got home safely. Thanks for asking. I had a wonderful time on our date too. Let's, we can see how it goes before we talk about kissing or anything like that. And I would like to go out with you again. Because that's how a human being would talk to another human being, not a, that's great. Which, honestly, I was thinking about talking about consideration and how we treat other people because, again, dating, we're dealing with other people, despite how we sort of have to be selfish and, go after things that we want. Despite that, we're still dealing with other people and we should, be polite and considerate of their feelings that they are another human being. And more times than not, they haven't done anything wrong and they don't deserve to be, ghosted or treated badly because they didn't do anything wrong. And in all honesty, like, even when I'm talking to, women and they say to me like, hey, listen, I'm not feeling it. Okay, no worries. See you later. I'm not here to convince anybody to like me. It's either you do or you don't. And if you don't, hey, thanks for telling me. Thanks for saving my time and my energy. I'm going to move it to somewhere else now. I appreciate it. That's how everybody should be when somebody dumps you. And I know that seems really weird, but they're saving you of your time. They're telling you that they don't like you. I mean, you can take it personally if you want. It is a personal thing. Someone's literally saying that they don't like you. Again, I've said all this shit before. But still, you can now, you have your closure. They don't like you. You can move on. Go out with somebody else now. Go find somebody else. Find someone that actually likes you, that has the things that you want and don't want, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Anyways, going back to this. And again, I start yelling at her because it's like, what's wrong with you? Like, this guy is trying to get something from you, and nothing. Like, you're giving him nothing. One word answers. And funny enough, her and I were supposed to go out to dinner the next day, which was yesterday. Not yesterday when you're hearing this. Yesterday for me when I'm recording this. That doesn't even matter. Because it was a Sunday, they went out Sunday, and because she's off, she took a little bit of extended time, so she's like a week off of work, being at home, and then going on vacation, then coming back to work. Nonetheless, again, that's all completely irrelevant. Her and I were supposed to go out on Monday for dinner because all the talks that I give her and help her out through all this shit, she wanted to treat me to dinner, which is very nice of her, and I honestly appreciate it. But something came up, and she can't. It was a work thing, and it was very important that I guess people knew that she wasn't on her vacation, that she was at home. So she said, okay, you know what? I'm here. I might as well just do it. And it was a couple of days of work that was needed. And then that guy messaged her and, trying to set up a date. And then she's like, yeah, sorry, I can't go out with you on Wednesday when they were planning on going out. And it's like, okay, so you were an asshole to him, texting him essentially like one word answers, a thumbs up, not even a thumbs up emoji. She thumbed up his message because, in an iPhone, you hold down the message, you can, that's the thumbs up that she did. Not even a thumbs up emoji. And then when he said goodnight to her, she said, same to you. And then literally the next day you cancel the date. Because even the night before when I was talking to her, I said to her, I'm like, why don't you redeem yourself? Why don't you message him and say, hey, listen, I'm sorry I was busy getting myself ready for bed, even though she was on the phone with me. Little white lie. Fine. Not a big deal. Nonetheless, I was busy. I had a wonderful time with you. Yes, I got home safe. Whether she wants to be kissed by him or not. I mean, she says that it's fine. So, ignore it even if you want to, and say, yeah, I'm excited to see you again. Just to give him something, just to say like, hey, listen, like your effort isn't going like unseen. And again, if somebody was talking to you and said these things to you, you would reply in kind. Or at least I hope you would. Not just sit there and be like, that's great. Yeah. Again, consideration, right? Because this guy, and again, I don't know who he is. I don't know what his motives are. Everything that he's done so far as she's told me, to me, perfectly normal, perfectly fine. Good on him. Seems like he's an okay guy. I still reserve judgment because, nonetheless. But she's essentially treating him like an asshole. And then, like I said, then the next day, he's trying to set something up, and oh yeah, sorry, can't go out with you. I gotta work, even though she's on vacation. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. All this shit happens. But if you were a person in that position, and I even asked her this, if you were a person in that position and it starts out up here, phone conversations, great date, you even get a birthday cake because, the person you're on a date with wanted to like celebrate your birthday with you because it was a week before. And then it drops down to, that's great, thumbs up, you too. And then the next day, as you're trying to set up a date, it's like, sorry, I can't go out with you. What are you feeling? What are you feeling? And I asked her that. I'm like, if this happened to you, what would you feel? And she gave me some like nonchalant answer, like, I would have been fine and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, really? Really? You would have been fine. Funny enough, about you being fine is that literally a week ago, you were feeling like shit because somebody was ignoring you or not being, communicative. And granted, that person ghosted you and like, fuck them for doing that. But that's beside the point. Because those couple of days after you responded and were getting like very vague responses back from him, you felt uneasy. You know how I know? Because you called me and you told me. You felt uneasy. So when someone is giving you vague responses and being a little aloof, you feel uneasy. You feel like, hey, wait a minute. I felt like the date went well. I felt like everything was going well. Why don't I have that feeling that everything is going well? Where is that? What's going on with me? Is it me? Am I overthinking? Because everybody loves to say, or pull out the overthinking card. And sometimes we are, and sometimes we're not. We're just thinking, not overthinking, right? Something doesn't feel right. Is it just me overthinking? Or maybe I'm just going to say that to cover up the fact that it's not overthinking and something is off. Now, again, put yourself in that guy's shoes. I mean, this is the point that I said earlier, that this story is ongoing because she has Thursday free and she said that she was gonna do better, and she promised me that she was gonna treat him nice, and she was gonna suggest that they go out on Thursday rather than Wednesday and blah, 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 blah. I have no idea what's going on. I'm kind of like curious to know, and I'm sure you might be too. And by the time you hear this, like there will be a whole full story, and maybe I'll revisit it and catch you guys up. But nonetheless, how do you feel? And as this guy in this position, it's like, you know what? We went on a date. I took her out. I was talking to her on the phone, and I'm trying to message her. I'm trying to get something back from her, and this is what I get. This is what I get. And if it even wasn't for me saying to her, like, hey, like, respond to this guy, she would have waited till we were done our conversation before she would have responded. And here's the thing. It was after their date. So it was like 11:30-ish, I think, when I called her. And we were on the phone till about like 12:30, close to 1. And would you have responded at that time? Or would you have just like, meh, it's already late. I'm just going to go to sleep. Because even when I said to her, I'm like, why don't you redeem yourself? She's like, no, I'll do it tomorrow. And it's like, I fucking hate that. I hate that. Because why wait for tomorrow when you can do it today? That's something that my father taught me. Like, drilled it in my head. And now it's with me. Why wait till tomorrow if you can do it today? You have a chance to redeem yourself. No, I'll do it tomorrow. So this poor guy is going to sleep thinking, did I do something wrong on the date? Did me mentioning that I wanted to kiss her, like, scare her off? Was me trying to get her on a date again before she leaves for her vacation too pushy? And probably a million other things. I'm not him. I'm just like thinking, a little outside the box of what people would have been thinking because of what people have come to me in the past for. Maybe he just went right to bed and like, cool, awesome, gonna see her again, perfect, and went to bed. I don't know. But this is where that consideration comes in, because if you were in his shoes, what would have you liked to hear as a reply to your message? Now, I want you to think to all the times that you've talked to somebody, maybe somebody that you didn't even like all that much, and think how you were treating them versus all the times that you really liked somebody and how they treated you. And those times where they treated you maybe not so savvy, right? And try to compare their behavior with your behavior to see that when you don't like someone, Are you being an asshole? And that's where this whole idea of consideration comes from, because even within my story, she liked the guy. Well, she says she did. That goes a lot deeper, because I don't believe she's 100% ready to date, because she's a bit of an avoidant. That's neither here nor there. And she even told me that she went online specifically to see if she could date somebody, because she was like hurt over the last guy. It's like she opened herself up to the last guy. She got a little hurt. It bothered her. And then she forced herself to go back online to see if she could find another guy and be okay with it. And that was her goal. And then she did it. She achieved her goal. So it's like, now what? Now you treat this guy like an asshole, because that's what it looks like, right? You had a goal. You achieved that goal. And now you're like, meh. Sounds great. You too. Thumbs up. You know what I mean? That's just what it looks like from the outside. And it's like, well, what's your goal here? Are you still looking to find someone to, spend the rest of your life with? Are you still looking to find someone to go out and do fun things with? Or this was it? You had this goal in your head of, can I get to know someone, go out with them, and be okay with it? And then she went and did exactly that. And then all of a sudden, it's like everything just tapered off. And it's like, well, maybe you need to do some thinking. So again, I ask you guys out there listening to this, think about all the times that you were talking to someone and didn't like them. They weren't it for you, for whatever reason. The reason doesn't even matter. How were you treating them? Think about all the times that you just were bored and went online, because I know women do this. I've literally gone on dates with women who literally told me, yeah, I'm not really interested in dating. I just wanted to go online because I needed an ego boost. And it's like, okay, then what am I doing here? And they're like, well, you were fun to talk to, so I just wanted to go out with you. And it's like, but see, like what I'm doing and the point of like me dating you and going out with you and talking to you is much different than the point of you talking to me and wanting to go out on a date with me. And if I knew this, I probably wouldn't have went on this date with you. And it's like, whatever, you make the best out of a bad situation. But this is where that whole idea of consideration comes into. I mean, this is another story, right? Where I match with someone online and, conversation's great, talking for a couple of days, a good hand, like I think it was like 4 or 5 days, and say like, hey, spur of the moment, you want to go grab a drink? And she was like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. And then we go and do it. And then it's like, you're not actually interested in anything. And no. And I even said it to her. I'm the one that said it to her. I'm like, so you were online just to like boost your ego, because that's what it seems like. And she's like, yeah. I mean, she even lied about her age and all this other stuff too. So there was just so many red flags. I mean, it doesn't even matter how many red flags I see, because she wasn't interested in anything, right? Which, fine. But this is where consideration, being transparent, comes into effect. Because rather than me talking to you, I could have been talking to somebody else. Rather than me going out with you, I could have been going out with someone else. Do I regret it? No, because I had a good time. She's a cool person. I learned some things from her. It was great, and I made another friend, a new connection, so to speak, because she's also in the wellness community. So yeah, like, it happens. But again, if it would have started out with, yeah, I'm not looking for anything specific and I'm just here to meet people and see what happens. Okay. Now, at least I have a better idea of what I'm getting myself into. At least I have a better idea of, where do I want to spend my time? Because at the end of the day, and I mentioned this before, time is the only commodity that we will never, ever, ever get back. The whole point of online dating, the whole point of, talking on a phone and messaging and getting to know someone prior to going out with them is to save time, is for us to be more efficient in the things that we do. And this is where being considerate is very important. See, I had this idea that I want to change the landscape of the dating realm. I want people to be more open, more transparent. I want people to be more considerate so that we all are in the same boat together. We all save time. We're all looking for our thing. And whatever that thing is, it's like, okay, but once we find it, now we have more time to spend with them as opposed to spending more time with the people that aren't around or shouldn't be around. And this idea of like ghosting and all this other shit, because we have enough in our lives that weigh us down, that we think about, that bother us. Why do we have to add this? And then doing so is the reason that so many people out there are like, I hate dating. I hate meeting new people, when dating and meeting new people should be fun and exciting. It shouldn't be a burden. It shouldn't be shit. Even if you go out on a date with someone and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't like them. Well, there was something about them that you did like that got you there. So it's not a complete waste. You can learn something about yourself from them. They can learn something about you. They can learn something from you. It's never a waste. Like I said, even me with that girl who lied to me and was just, getting her ego boost. Like, she was cool. I had a good time. I don't regret it. Granted, if I knew, I might not have went out with her. But that's because I value my time. And I don't know if I would have wasted my time on a date if I knew the reason for it. But again, I don't regret it. Anyways, I'm just like rambling on about this shit. I just want you all out there to look back at how you talk to people. Look back at how you talk to people and how you treat other people. Be considerate. Be considerate of other people's time. Be considerate of other people's feelings. Because at the same time, you want people to be considerate of your time and your feelings. And if you don't like someone, then you don't like them. It's fine. You don't need to go on a date with them if you don't like them. Chances are nothing's going to change. And as I said to my friend, you might have gone out with this guy for the wrong reasons. That doesn't necessarily mean that you can't, find a spark within your relationship with this man. Because she went out with him and was talking to him and had a wonderful time. She told me that she had a wonderful time with him. She couldn't tell him that. Again, other issues. But the fact is, you found someone who you enjoyed talking to and you enjoyed spending time with. Even if it was for the wrong reasons. Don't throw that away. Don't waste it. Treat people better. Treat people with respect. Be considerate of their feelings and their time. And you know what? Chances are you might not get burned in the end. I know there's a lot of people out there that say, oh, I hate texting. Communication is the key. It's number one. And if you hate texting, granted, you don't have to text. You can tell someone, hey, listen, I can't stand texting. So if you want to talk, you call me. And we'll talk. And that's that. But you have to offer an alternative. You can't just sit there and say, I hate texting. I'm bad on the phone. The only way that I can get, that I can get intimate with a person is face to face. And it's like, yeah, that's how most people do it, 100%. But if you're telling me that you're bad at communication on a phone or within texting, that's a massive red flag. So what? I can only learn things about you when I see you face to face? That's going to take an awfully long time for us to get to know each other. You know, we each have our own lives. We have our own responsibilities and commitments. And unless we're spending a godly amount of time with each other right off the bat, it's going to take a very long time for us to get to know each other unless we're able to 5 minutes, 10 minutes at night having a phone conversation before bed or texting throughout the day. I understand we all live busy lives, but this is all part of being considerate of other people's time, being considerate of other people's needs. And if that's who you are, well, you're a bad communicator, and I suggest that you try to get past it and figure it out. Just like I was saying to my friend here, you know, you're being an asshole in your text messages, and despite how good everything's gone, you think in your head that he knows this, when in reality he's probably questioning how everything's going and what did he do wrong, even though he didn't do anything wrong. Right? Consideration, communication. Let's be better people, right? Let's lead by example. Let's all be better people together. Let's all treat people with respect. And when we are in situations where somebody can't take no for an answer, at least you tried. You know, you cut it off, block them. This is the beauty about technology. Block them. It's okay. You said your piece. You're done with them. Block them. Block them on the phone. Block them on WhatsApp. Block them on Instagram. Block them on Facebook. Block them on Snapchat. Block them on everything. Block them. So that maybe that they can get the picture and move on. You can even point them to me, my podcast. Specifically, the one about people being babies and not being able to take no for an answer. You can just point them there. In fact, I said it that I'm gonna literally record a breakup message that everybody can just point someone to. Because, hey, listen, stop wasting your time. Okay? Stop it. Go somewhere else. I've rambled on more than enough. I hope you get the picture. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. I hope that you will go out there after listening to this and be considerate of other people and be nice. And if you don't like someone, that's fine. You're allowed to not like someone. You're allowed to reject someone. You're allowed to dump someone. You're allowed to. That's part of being considerate, believe it or not. Dumping someone you don't like is being considerate. Remember that, okay? Dumping someone is you being nice. It is you being considerate. In their head, they might think like, oh, she's being mean because she's dumping me, right? It would be nice for her to like, what? To date someone you don't like? And it's like, if the tables were turned, would you still feel that way? No. Right? We need to stop thinking one way. We need to start thinking two ways. Okay? How people treat us, how we treat them, whether we like them or not, because there is a difference. I would love for you to go back, think about all the times that you treated someone whom you didn't like, and all the times that someone treated you when they didn't like you, because you know when someone doesn't like you. Either way, thank you so much for listening to this. I know I went longer than usual. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you learned something, and I hope you're considerate. If you have any questions or comments for me, you can go to www.joeyfrancis.com, JoeyFrances.com, and there you can scroll down and shoot me a message, whether you have a question for me or a podcast idea, or you know, you just want to tell me that I'm an idiot and to shut the F up. That's fine too. You know, I like it all. It's all great. And if you scroll further down than that, you will see my books that you should buy because they can help you. Because to be happy, you have to be, happiness has to come here first, and then you can get it from out there. So, yeah, again, thank you. I honestly appreciate you so very, very much. Be considerate, be nice, kill them with kindness. Until next time.